Hello. Today in my writing process playlist, I'm going to talk about my first draft, the first 50 days, and overcoming a crisis. In the last video, I mentioned that my computer died, and it's been quite an interesting time since then. If you want to know more about what happened with that, you can check out my storytelling video, Mishaps and the Stars. I detail that experience. But in this one, I'm going to talk about how I got through it. I'm still getting through it. So, in the other video, in the writing video, I mentioned that the computer died and I was trying to continue. It hasn't been easy, and it seems like battery dying might be a minor problem, but it has blossomed into a major problem. I'll get to that more in a second. But despite that, I've worked through it. I think when you're a creator and you have a project and you're in the moments when you're trying to really get it there, sometimes it just comes down to resolve and will, and kind of just telling the universe, fuck you, I'm just gonna keep going. Even if it feels like the universe is putting all these roadblocks in the way. And I would go so far as to say that might be a time when someone would give up, but that is the time when you can't give up. It's just, you have to keep plowing forward. And that's what I've done. As of January 19th, I am 63% done. I am at 51,834 words. I have 29,166 left and 40 days remaining. My average daily word count has been 1,178, and my current streak is 25 days. It's my longest streak, and I'll talk about that more in a second. Christmas break, I did nothing for 2 days. Then I wrote pretty consistently until the battery died on the 9th. I had a good streak at that point. I was going very well. On the 9th and the 10th, I had the trouble, and I had to teach on those days, so it was just a mess of me trying to get all my files in the right place and how I was going to do it, and those 2 days were just a nightmare. I still wrote though. I didn't get much done, but I wrote some. So I managed to keep it up. Well, how did I do that? Well, the first few days I had to kind of assess the situation. I use Scrivener as my writing app, and I love it, but there are some drawbacks to it. One is that I don't like using the cloud. Some people write with Google Docs in the cloud, and I just don't like doing that. So when the battery died, I had most of my files on the computer. I had a lot of them backed up, but I usually, I don't back up every day because it's too much to deal with. But I was probably maybe a week or two behind in terms of backup. So what ended up happening is I got a new battery and I installed it myself, and everything went fine. But after I did that, I noticed on the cord, one of the little teeth for the charger part was kind of bent. And so I think that's actually the problem, not the battery. So now I'm waiting for this cord to come in the mail. But anyway, once I changed the battery, I had enough battery on the computer to be able to pull the files off from the last 2 weeks. I just prefer writing on Scrivener. I don't like writing on Google Docs. So that's just part of what I have to deal with. So basically what I've been doing is using dictation on my phone mostly. Once I do the dictation, I will email it to myself and keep a copy in Writer Plus, so I have 2 different copies. And at the end, I will go back and move all of the emails into my Scrivener file. Well, I've also been using a lot of paper and doing it the old-fashioned way and writing a lot of notes down. The problem that I faced with the dictation is I've had to write things out of order. Up until this point, up until the battery failure, I've been writing pretty much in chronological order. Well, because the battery issue, I've had to sort of change my approach, and I've written things out of order. So there are pros and cons to this. The pros is that I've been writing mostly dialogue. It's the best thing to do when I'm using dictation, I think. It's the easiest way to deal with it. So by doing this, I've been able to maintain the word count, and it's allowed me to keep my output up. The cons is I had to skip a large section because it's the actual Eleusis rites, and it's just too many details that I'm gonna have to come back to that. And I think for most of the chapters, I've had to skip kind of technical stuff because it's just too hard to do it on my phone and juggle all the different files and stuff. So I'm gonna have to go back and integrate everything, but we'll see how easy that is. It's gonna take some time once I actually get my computer up and running again, hopefully. Then, I'm gonna have to take a day or two and just go through and kind of just figure it all out. But how has it gone so far? Well, it hasn't been easy. I'm writing more by hand. I find myself jotting down more on my outline. In fact, my outline is now covered in notes. It had some notes before, but now there's just all kinds of things because I'm kind of keeping track of what I've written on there as well. So I'll say, I'll mark things that are done, or, or things that I might have to add to it, or that kind of thing. Thank God I printed all of that out, all of my different files, because that has really helped me right now. When I get it up and running, we'll see what happens. Hopefully I can maintain my output. It's gone well despite all the setbacks. I'm on a 25-day streak, so that's good. I'm still waiting on the power cord. They tried to deliver it, but it wasn't here, and somehow I didn't see the call, and so they're supposed to bring it tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Hopefully I get it and it fixes everything. If it doesn't, then my next video is going to have all kinds of things I'll be commenting on. So I think the main thing is to stay positive in something like this, and also that creativity thrives under constraints. So in some ways it's a blessing in that regard. You just have to rethink the process a bit and rethink how you're doing things. But I think that's about all I got. I have about 40 days left, so there might be maybe 2 more videos in the first draft, and then I'll go from there. But that's all I got. Take care. Have a good day.